Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So this short video will try to discuss about the sampling method for the survey. Okay, before we proceed, let us start with the Kitab Al-Fatihah. Okay, so before we go to the sampling method for a survey, let us do a quick revision on the different types of sampling method. Yeah, so we can generally divide into probability or random sampling, and of course the other type is the non-probability or non-random sampling. So what are the different types of random sampling? We have simple random sampling, stratified random sampling, systematic cluster sampling, and also multi-stage sampling. But for a non-probability sampling, yeah, the most commonly known are convenience sampling, purposive, or snowball sampling, or we have also quota sampling and total population or universal sampling. Okay, so for this video, we'll focus on basically on convenience sampling. Okay, so before we go into further detail, when I mentioned about random sampling and non-random sampling, so how random is random? Yeah, because I always found that student wrote in their thesis that they did a random sampling, and then they followed by they mention specifically that they do convenience sampling. So actually they contradict themselves. Yeah. So I am quite sensitive with this. Yeah. So if anyone mentioned that they do random sampling, I would like to know how they actually do their sampling. Is it really random? Yeah. For a survey, for example, yeah. So you know now, during the COVID-19 pandemic, yeah, we cannot go and distribute a questionnaire face to face. So usually, people distribute through WhatsApp group. So they might say that they distribute the questionnaire, yeah, or the link of the questionnaire randomly through WhatsApp group. Yeah, is it really random? Yeah, because if you distribute the link to WhatsApp group, only those who want to answer will answer your questionnaire. So it can actually lead to a volunteer bias. Yeah, and a bias is there. So when there is a bias, we cannot claim that it is a type of random sampling. Yeah, or maybe you said you distribute randomly to your friends. Yeah, you just randomly distribute to your friends. Yeah, it might lead to sampling bias because again, how random is random here? Yeah, you might already have it in your mind that okay, this friend might answer my questionnaire, so I can send the link to them. This one, or cannot, they might complain. Yeah, I don't send. So that is there is a bias already there. Yeah, so you cannot claim that it is random. Yeah, because in order to do a true random sampling, yeah, the first thing is that you must have the list of the subjects in the sampling frame. What is sampling frame? Sampling frame is your population with the consideration of inclusion and exclusion criteria. Yeah, so it might be difficult. So at least the list of subject in the population. Yeah, for example, someone want to do study in among students in IIUM Kuantan campus. So in order to do a random sampling, they need to have the list of all students in Kuantan campus. Yeah, and then they choose randomly the subjects to be included in their study. Yeah, so how to choose randomly from the list? Yeah, they can use a random digit table. Yeah, there is a specific way on how to use this random digit table. Or now you can search in the internet. You say you want to do a random sampling, and usually they ask you the total number of people in the population and what is your sample size. Yeah, and they'll give you what numbers you should choose as your subjects in your study. Or you can even do a lucky draw if it is a small number of people in the population. Yeah, for example, you wrote the numbers on small pieces of paper, put it in a box, and you pick out the numbers according to your sample size. and the numbers selected, yeah, and of course the subject accordingly, you need to contact them to be the subject in your study. Then only it is a true random sampling. Yeah, but of course, as I mentioned just now, there are a few types of random sampling. Yeah, but basically what I mentioned just now is the simple random sampling. Okay, so you cannot just claim I just give it randomly to everyone just like that. Yeah, so because as I mentioned just now, how random is random. Yeah, so if you cannot ensure that it is a random sampling, just say that you do a non-probability or non-random sampling. Okay, so that's why if you ask me what is the sampling method for an online survey, I would say the answer is a convenience sampling. Yeah. So when you put a convenience sampling, you cannot be wrong. Yeah, because convenience sampling is the selection of participants that are easily available or accessible, which is convenient to you, who are approachable to you. Yeah, so the method I'm sure that you use for an online survey, it actually fulfills this criteria. Yeah, so you should say that you do convenience sampling. Yeah, and we know that this is the most commonly used sampling technique. Yeah, it is prompt, uncomplicated, economical. Yeah, and the participants are likely to represent a biased portion of the population because convenience sampling is not a random sampling. So if it represents a biased portion of the population, you cannot ensure of the representativeness of the sample. Why do we want a representative sample? Yeah, we need a representative sample so that we can infer our results to the population. Yeah, because when we do a study, yeah, we want to infer our result to the population. For example, just now I mentioned I want to do a study on the students in Kuantan campus. Yeah, so I want to be able to say that the results from my sample, yeah, from my study, it can represent the whole IIM Kuantan students population. Yeah, so in order to claim that, you need to have a representative sample. Yeah, because if not, yeah, you cannot claim that the results from your sample is what you expect from the population. Okay, so what is a representative sample? Yeah, I give you a quick example here. Yeah, let's say this is our hypothetical population. Yeah, let's say this is Malay, Chinese, Indian. Yeah, and when I do my sampling, I get something like this. Does this represent our hypothetical population? Yeah, I would say yes. So this is a representative sample. Yeah, but if another person do a sampling and they got this, is this representative? This is not. Yeah, so when you do a random sampling, yeah, hopefully by chance you get the representative sample. But if you don't do a probability or you do a non-random sampling, yeah, you might get a sample something like this, which is not representative of the population. So that's why the limitation of convenience sampling or any of the non-random sampling or non-probability sampling is that you cannot infer the results to the population because the bias might be there. Okay, so as a summary, yeah, I would say the sampling method to be used in online survey is convenience sampling. Yeah, but if you, it's not to say that you cannot do a random sampling, but you must fulfill the method. You must fulfill the criteria of the random sampling. Okay, and if you do a non-random sampling, yeah, you won't be able to infer your results to the population. Actually, when you want to do uh, when you want to do the data analysis, yeah, you need to check for the assumption of the statistical test first. And I always taught the students that the first assumption is random sampling, because the tests are supposedly an inferential statistics whereby you want to infer the result to the population. Yeah, so that's why you need to do a random sampling. But for example, in this case, in the survey, you cannot do a random sampling. You just do a convenience sampling. Does that mean you cannot do the statistical analysis? No, it doesn't mean that. Yeah, you can still do the statistical analysis, but because you don't do random sampling, you won't be able to infer your results to the population. Yeah, so if you do a convenience sampling, yeah, when you do your statistical analysis, your results is valid for your sample only. Yeah, so that's the implication. It doesn't mean that you cannot use the test at all. Yeah, so I think that's all from me for this. So we know that if you do an online survey, most probably you can only claim that you do a convenience sampling. Okay, with that, let us end with tasbih, kafarah, and surah wal-as. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.